Many thanks for making a date today on the marketplace with me, Emmanuel Abuaji Riafi. Let's start it all with a very fair story here on inflation. And the month of June recorded inflation rate of 9.1% as compared with 9.4% recorded in May. The Upper West, Bono, Western and Ashanti regions recorded the highest levels of inflation. Deputy Government Statistician Araba Forson has been explaining the main price drivers of food and non-food inflation.
Year-on-year inflation rate for June 2019 was 9.1%. This means that the change in the general price level was 9.1% over the one-year period from June 2018 to June 2019. The year-on-year inflation rate for May 2019 was 9.4%. Looking at the monthly change, that is from month to month, we see that the monthly change rate for June 2019 was 0.9%. This means that the general price level went up by 0.9% between May and June 2019. The monthly change rate recorded for May 2019 was 0.9%. This shows us the price changes on a monthly basis and on a yearly basis. So we can see there that for May 2019, if we compare the price index, which was 238.6 in May 2019, with that of June 2019, it was 240.5%. And that translates into a monthly change rate of 0.9% in May and 0.8% in June.
Now, the Ministry of Energy is expected to complete work on transforming the existing gas master plan into law for regulation. The new law will provide enabling environment for investors as well as helping government to adapt to current trends in the gas sector. Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia disclosed this at the ongoing Ghana International Petroleum Conference in Accra. Dr. Bawumia also hinted the master plan for petroleum transportation will be implemented to solve the many challenges encountered in transporting petroleum products in the country.
Belief in a fair, competitive and well-regulated market is not in doubt. And for the fact that the performance of the downstream petroleum market directly affects the lives of millions of Ghanaians daily, we take seriously the behavior of all the players in the market. Following the deregulation of the petroleum downstream sector in Ghana, the sector has witnessed significant investment and expansion of petroleum products storage and outlet facilities. This investment has been championed by the private sector, which is mostly dominated by a growing number of indigenous Ghanaian companies. This has given rise to a significant number of new entrants licensed to operate as petroleum service providers in the industry. As a result, there are currently over 250 licensed companies across the value chain and over 15 different license categories providing support services. For instance, over the past 8 years, the industry has grown from a total of 8 bulk distribution companies to 35. The number of oil marketing companies has grown from 81 to 115. There are now 19 companies providing support services for the sector in areas such as tank calibration, underground storage tank, and above storage tank cleaning, non-destructive testing, amongst others, as at May 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to assure the petroleum downstream industry that government will continue to create an enabling environment for downstream business to thrive competitively, efficiently, and with the highest safety standards. Here are some specific initiatives in the gas sector. This government, through the Ministry of Energy, is in the process of ensuring institutional and regulatory realignment of the midstream gas subsector to bring clarity and a degree of certainty to players within the subsector. The Minister of Energy would conclude the process of realignment and commence the process of.
All right, so we'd like to get more from the Ghana International Petroleum Conference, which is going on today, and we're linking up with our man, Ebenezer Sabute, to tell us some more, or to give us some more details from the Petroleum Conference. Ebenezer, what's going on there so far?
Hi, Abwaji. Just about a few minutes ago, there was a discussion on deregulation. And we all know that when it comes to deregulation, Ghana has been leading the West African market when it comes to petroleum distribution. So there was an assembly of, regulators. It is called the Regulators Forum, where we had the National Petroleum Authority boss of Nigeria, Burkina Faso, and then also the Minister of Energy and Renewable Sources of Senegal, discussing the issue about deregulation. There has been, a concern that Nigeria has still not been able to implement a deregulated market, and then also the sulfur content of their fuels. But the minister did respond to that they are having a discussions and they are having all the stakeholders to engage so that they have a very, primary understanding about the initiative. The Ghana's Hassan Tampole has also been briefing them about how the country has been faring so far after the implementation of the deregulated market. You heard the Vice President speaking about transporting petroleum products. There was another suggestion about transporting the products from the depot by air, and that suggestion has been shut down completely, let me put it that way, because with the thoughts looking at the cost involved and all the necessary issues that needs to be accompanied with this, it is going to be very difficult to have it. Even if we will achieve it, it is not now. So that is not something that will be on the table as we speak. So as we speak for now, there has been a break, and they'll be coming back to speak about the downstream sector as well. It's all focusing on the West African sub-region.
Now, Ebenezer, did anything come up with regards to establishing a petroleum hub in the country? Because I know the discussion started yesterday. Was it pursued today?
Today's discussions has not yet been on the petroleum hub project, but I had a personal engagement with the chief executive of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senior Usi, who did indicate to me that they are still going on with the negotiations and consultations and all that, and it is possible that government will come to terms with whatever the private sector is bringing on board, because when you want to have such a hub, it's going to be the largest in West Africa, and government alone cannot execute such a project. So it needs the private sector on board. As we speak, there hasn't been the formal discussions on it yet today, but my personal engagement with the CEO of Seaboard indicates that yes, the negotiations are ongoing, and very soon we'll hear an announcement from the government.
Now, one other major, discussion that has been going on among the ranks of stakeholders in the petroleum industry is the fact that we need to integrate both the upstream and downstream sectors of the petroleum sector. Has this issue also come up?
Yes, such an issue was raised by one of the panelists, and I remember very well that the Minister of Energy and Renewable Sources for Nigeria did mention that such, an initiative is very good, but we may need a very good infrastructure. And he asked the question that, is Africa ready, is West Africa ready to provide the necessary investment into such an infrastructure so that we can have, having the downstream and the upstream coming together to do the work, to do the distribution work. So yes, it has come up, but the question is, do we have the necessary infrastructure to make it happen? And in Ghana here, we know that we don't have it. So Hassan Tampole hasn't responded to that much, but what he was saying is that, yes, we're having a deregulation market, even though it is not full, it's not fully deregulated. Government is doing all it can to improve the distribution networks. So yes, more work is being done, but having that is not yet on the board.
All right, thank you so much for that update. Ebenezer Sabote is our man covering the Ghana International Petroleum Conference in Accra. Meanwhile, Energy Minister, Deputy Energy Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has justified the reintroduction of the stabilization levy on some petroleum products. The National Petroleum Authority last month directed the oil marketing companies to start applying the stabilization and recovery levy. This resulted in petrol attracting 12 pesos increase in petrol prices, while 10 pesos was placed on diesel. Let's listen to the Deputy Minister.
It had to be restored for two reasons. The Ministry of Finance thinks that because it is a levy, when you don't charge, then you are taking a decision which requires parliamentary approval. And therefore, we needed to restore it. And if we will have to withdraw it, we need to come to Parliament for Parliament to consider that decision. And secondly, we have had to restore it because prices generally have been stable. And I can tell you that when we even restored it, prices on the domestic market were flat. In fact, in this current window, the window of 1st July to 15th, 16th July, prices have fallen. Petrol has reduced by about 2.1%, you know, and the trend is the same for other products. And so if the essence of the stabilization levy is to stabilize prices and prices have been stable, then there is no reason why it should not be.
You don't subscribe to the argument with that.
Thirdly, the levy is collected not just for price stabilization.
And now the Deputy Energy Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, on the stabilization levy. Away from that, the Association of Rural and Community Banks has petitioned the Finance Minister and the other relevant institutions over increase in corporate income tax. The association has been persistent with a push for a reduction in corporate income tax after it was increased from 8% to 25%. Executive Director of the association, Comfort Wusu, says the Finance Minister must reconsider a review of the tax since it is affecting the operations of rural banks. Prince Apia has more in this report.
The new Income Tax Act demanded that corporate income tax be increased from 8% to 25%. Since its introduction, many players in the rural banking industry have raised concerns about how the development has affected their operations. Executive Director of Association of Rural Banks, Comfort Wusu, says members have petitioned the Finance Minister on the issue.
Most of our banks, with their corporate social responsibility, are doing a lot. Some are building schools, some are giving them water, some are taking care of all it. Some of our banks are dying because of that. Government should come in again. From 8% to 25%, I think it's on the higher side. So the government should come a bit down for us. Well, if from 8%, you can even go to 10% or even 12%, at most even 15%. But from 8% to 25%, I think that it's on the higher side and it's really affecting the operations of our banks. And we plead with the government that we have sent our petition to the government itself, to the Ministry of Finance. We've still not heard about them, and we are waiting for our result. We are pleading with the government that it should come in again for us.
Rural and community banks say they contribute significant portions of their profits on community development projects. Amenfiman Rural Bank, for instance, invested over 400,000 Ghana cedis in 2018 in community initiatives. Chief Executive Dr. Alexander Asma says corporate tax weighs on the bank's operations.
Last year, we invested an amount of 429,000 in corporate social responsibility. Over 120,000 went into education alone, and the rest went 140,000 plus went into health and water and sanitation, and the others went into sports, development and others. So what we are saying is that when we make profits, we support the rural communities to also develop. The areas that we are working, we spend quite a lot, so our cost of operation is very, very high because the roads are bad, people are having small businesses, and so you have to travel long distances to cover many people into the financial inclusion. And because the government means so well for financial inclusion in Ghana, we want to plead with the government to look at the tax rate for rural banks and reduce it to somewhere around 15%, so that we can have some excess money in our hands to support our operation and also to invest back into the community.
Prince Apia report.
Let's still stay in Kumasi, where the Asantehene Utumfo 2 has charged young people to make the best of technology to tackle problems within the society. The Asantehene made a call during a pitch event by the Ghana Oracle Digital Enterprise Program, GODEP, a collaboration between Oracle Systems and the government of Ghana. It is aimed at developing 500 digital startups. The Asantehene also pledged his support and that of the entire Asante mine to ensure that the ingenuity shown by young digital entrepreneurs flourishes.
It's over time. Now it's over time office. And Sani I draw to himself so come.
Tira si broni ko no mo besi anani just over time. Now the town office. And Sani I draw to himself so aba.
When the whites left us to take over, one had to dress just like them in order to be accepted as one of them. So we did not pay much attention to the little things like vocational skills. But that is where we put the minds to work, unlike the white-collar jobs. This is also how our universities have been structured. So if one does not become a lawyer or a banker after school, he is not regarded in society.
You will say no one buy a medical university. She said, no one is everywhere.
Yeah, not just open fewness on your lawyer. When you are, you won't say, who in the public.
So no one at the schools you upon the local school now, by now, your lawyer, on your doctor, on your year, not as a say school now, quite a kind of a so bad.
Says, you said the other for free. I can. Some of the colleague catch them.
Away from Kumasi, the Minister of Aviation, Kofi Adda, has given assurance the ministry will get the home-based carrier operational soon after all contractual agreements are completed by end of the month. Kofi Adda has been telling Joy Business how far his outfit has come with some of the agreements.
The journey to establish a new home-based carrier after the collapse of Ghana Airways and the subsequent collapse of Ghana International Airlines has been a difficult one, even though it is a prime vision of government to make Ghana an aviation hub. So far, Ethiopian Airlines has been selected as a strategic partner with 49% stake, whilst government works to raise the remaining 51%. Speaking to Joy Business, Minister for Aviation Kofi Adda said all contractual agreements for the setup of the airline should be completed by the end of July.
All the contractual documents are ready for signature. Basically, the shareholders agreement, the management service contract, the personal secondment contract, those are all ready. They've been negotiated by the joint team of Minister of Finance, Minister of Justice, and the Minister of Aviation. They're ready for review by Cabinet. We're hoping that this month that will be taken on board and finalized and approved. Once that's approved, we've signed, and that makes the airline active in terms of us now being clear in our minds on registering for the aircraft and beginning to look at route engagements and so on and so forth, and looking for slots to fly to certain areas. So I think we're moving quite fast on that, and by the end of this month, I'm sure we'll clear with all the contractual matters and registrations, what will lead us now into becoming operational.
The minister shed some light on the fleet type being considered to fly the home-based airline.
We'll look for smaller ones for the domestic regional, which I think most likely would be the likes of Bombardier Q400. For that, then when we go to mid-range and the long range, that would will come out of the bigger aircraft. That could be Boeing or could be Airbus.
Barring any setbacks, the ministry hopes to get the airline operational this year. For Joy Business,
The Association of Rural and Community Banks has petitioned the Finance Minister and other relevant institutions over the increase of corporate income taxes. The association has been persistent with a push for a reduction in corporate income tax as it was increased from 8% to 25%. We'll tell you more about this in our subsequent bulletins. But on that note, we draw the curtains down on the marketplace for today. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. We have a good afternoon.